Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. Looking at the passing offense from last season to this season, numbers, completion percentage, yards per game is pretty much on par between last season and this season. Can you pinpoint maybe why there hasn't been that sizable growth into this season?
Yeah, I think we're a little different team, just the way we're made up and the way we do things right now. And a lot of that is, obviously, a lot of that is contingent on the quarterback and what he does best. And the way things have panned out, we're running Mark probably a little bit more than maybe we would have anticipated going into this whole thing. But that's kind of just how things have developed. And, certainly not perfect. We've missed some throws along the way. We've had some protection breakdowns at times. But I think overall the guys have done a good job. And, it's just kind of the way our team is. I think each season unfolds in a certain way. And each, you learn about your players and try to do what they do best. And I think that's just kind of how it's materialized.
Chad, nice to Des Moines Register. One day, the three offensive linemen that got hurt looked like Bo hit a helmet to helmet maybe. The other two guys, kind of hard to tell, maybe lower body. Is that a fair characterization of those? And then, what can you say about the severity of those injuries? You said they're not 100% chance, but is it like 5% chance?
First thing I would say is it didn't help the cause Saturday, obviously. That's one of our strengths right now. And then, I'm not real good on percentages, but I think it's all realistic. I think all three of them have a good chance to play. And but we're being very careful with what we do daily right now, and probably no more certainly Thursday, Friday. But right now I'm optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, I guess. I don't know what percent that is. Is it like probable, non-probable, whatever? Yeah.
But if sorry, I'm on the mic here,
I can hear you.
If one of the guards only one is down, I would assume Leighton would be the guy either way.
That's who's going in.
How do you feel about him?
Good. He's really done a great job. I can't remember, it was a couple weeks ago where he jumped in there and I thought really did a good job. And, again, we get to watch these guys in practice. You guys don't get that exposure for guys that aren't playing as starters. So he's really just growing with every phase. And, we got great confidence. I thought he did a nice job again Saturday. And, if he's the guy I knew, he'll do fine.
Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Wanted to ask about TJ Hall. He was in a sling. That would seem more severe of an injury. What would you say about his possibility this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, just it's a he's got an injury, but just about the sling and the boots, like those things, everybody gets a sling or a boot. Like if you got any kind of injury, and I don't mean that I'm not being facetious or not judgmental at all, but that's kind of like standard protocol. So it really doesn't indicate the severity, good or bad. But yeah, he's working through it too. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not overly optimistic, I guess, out of all the guys who got injured, but we'll see. And if he doesn't go, Deshaun will jump in there and do a great job. Just all these injuries, feel good about the guys going in, but you start getting stretched through them a little bit. We're not unique. I mean, every team in the country is going through this, and this time of year. So, but Deshaun will do a great job. Little Zach, and next man up, Jalen or Rashad Godfrey, whoever it might be.
Madison Hurtzik, the Gazette. I wanted to ask about the senior class a little bit more.
Yeah.
They had a rather unique start to their college journey, being in that weird COVID start. A lot of them didn't get a full senior season in high school. Very, very different first year for college. For them to be able to overcome that to start a college career and then continue to grow into some of the leadership roles you were mentioning earlier, how have you seen this class develop through a rough beginning and then to where they are now?
Yeah, I could talk for a half hour on that topic. It's just because we all lived it, I think all of our lives were, our worlds got rocked that year. But as a coach in college athletics, or I guess coaching at any level for that matter, but especially in college, I think it was really impactful just because of the things that you cited. A lot of those guys, some played in the spring of their senior years, some played in the fall, some didn't play at all. And depending on where they were geographically, you saw kids move to a different state sometimes so they could play. Just all kinds of crazy stuff that you would never expect to happen. And then, to hit the nail on the head, I remember they got here in June. Back then, everybody, for the most part, came in June. Basically, they were sequestered to the dormitory. They were allowed to live in the dorm, come over here, and they could train, but small numbers. And then they had to go back to the dorm. I think downtown was totally shut down. So what a way to start your college career. In some ways, it maybe was a benefit because they all had to kind of draw together. It was basically them and nobody else. There was nobody else around here. But all that being said, just a weird time for our country, and certainly a weird time to be an incoming team member. And I guess they're a little bit more fortunate, the average student, because at least they had a support network here in this building. But all that being said, yeah, it was really a strange thing. I was extremely worried at that point about like what's it going to do to these guys short term and then long term. Long term, they've been great, and maybe that's why these guys have been so close. Maybe there's some, it was rooted in that.